Today, we conclude our series looking at commanders from Commander Legends 2 Battle for Baldur's Gate. You heard that right, this is the last one. And I've got a fun one for you today. Before we get started, I'd like to quickly ask you to like and subscribe. I've been very happy with the growth this channel has had so far, and I'm excited to see where we're going. If you're looking for ways to support this channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. One of the tiers is specifically set up for Commander. For only $25, I will build you a custom Commander deck based around your specifications, and even do a deck video on it. With that out of the way, let's get to the video. Erinis, Gloom Stalker is a 3-mana 3/3 Halfling Ranger with Death Touch. She also says, whenever she attacks, we return target land card from our graveyard to the battlefield. And like all monocolored commanders from Battle for Baldur's Gate, we can choose a background. This time, I've chosen Scion of Halaster. This legendary enchantment gives our commanders the additional text, the first time you would draw a card each turn, instead look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put one of them into your graveyard and the other back on top of your library. Then draw a card. So we use Scion of Halaster to put lands into our graveyard, and then Erinis brings them back for us. The 2 strongest things in Commander are card advantage and mana ramp, and this combination is in our command zone. So what do we do with it? What's our strategy? And what's our budget? To start, as I'm sure you gleaned from the title, we've got a $100 budget for this build. Additionally, I thought it would be fun to go with a Landfall strategy. We've got tons of lands coming into play, so let's take advantage of that. But creature tokens generated by Landfall could use a little help, so we'll keep that in mind for both the deck list and upgrades. But before we get to our deck, let's keep in mind our checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden I win card. First of all, let's take a look at our Landfall cards. We've got some additional beatdown pieces with Retreat to Hagra, Obnixilis the Fallen, Baloth Woodcrasher, and Oran Reef Hydra. We also have some Landfall token generators in Curse of the Restless Dead, cursing ourselves of course, Scoot Swarm, Spore Mound, Zendikar's Royal, Rampaging Baloths, and Avenger of Zendikar. But what are we going to do with all of these tokens? I'm glad you asked. We're going to overrun our opponents. To start, we have Driven Despair, Overrun, Overcome, Overwhelming Stampede, Earthshaker Giant, Endray's Forerunners, and Kamal Fist of Krosa. And because we're going to be attacking with our commander every turn, we're running Sword of Hearth and Home as additional ramp, Cauldra Complete to make sure Erinis is an indestructible beatstick, and Blackblade Reforged. For spot removal, we're running Natural Ice, Return to Nature, You Are Already Dead, Abrupt Decay, Beast Within, Putrefy, Infernal Grasp, Hero's Downfall, Death Sprout, Windgrace's Judgment, and Binding of the Old Gods. We're also running a Silk Guard to help protect our board. Our board wipes are rather mana intensive, but should be manageable with all the mana we're generating. We're running Hurricane, In Garrick's Wake, and Plague Wind. For card advantage, we've got Profane Tutor and Dig Up as budget tutors, Altar's Reap, Village Rites, Deadly Dispute, Return of the Wildspeaker, Costly Plunder, Blood Pact, Grave Purge, Crushing Disappointment, Verdant Rebirth, and Merciless Resolve. Remember, our background triggers on the first card we draw each turn, so I wanted to focus mostly on instant speed card draw, that way we can trigger Scion of Halaster on our opponent's turns as well as our own. For mana ramp, we've got Soul Ring as our sole mana rock, and Tireless Provisioner to help generate treasure or food in a pinch. We're also running Crop Rotation, Farseek, Nature's Lore, Rampant Growth, 3 Visits, Cultivate, Kodama's Reach, Circuitous Root, and Explosive Vegetation. For lands, we're running Blighted Woodland and Myriad Landscape for additional ramp, as well as Broker's Hideout, Cabaretti Courtyard, Maestro's Theater, Obscura Storefront, Riveteer's Overlook, Evolving Wilds, Anteromorphic Expanse for mana fixing and additional landfall triggers, Bojuka Bog for graveyard hate, Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, Deathcap Glade, Woodland Cemetery, Woodland Chasm, Temple of Malady, Dark Moss Bridge, Golgari Guildgate, Golgari Rot Farm, Witherbloom Campus, Jungle Hollow, 12 forests, and 5 swamps. So how does our deck compare against our checklist? 52 mana sources split between 38 lands and 14 pieces of ramp. A little heavy, but we're a landfall deck after all. 13 pieces of card advantage, 11 pieces of spot removal, 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, 7 sudden I win cards with our overrun effects, assuming our board state's big enough to take advantage of them. So our deck checks all the boxes, is under $100, and a lot of fun to play. We churn through our library, putting lands into the graveyard and then getting them back with our commander. We can equip our commander and kill an opponent via commander damage, or create a board full of creature tokens and cast an overrun effect to win the game that way. There are many paths to victory with this deck, and every game is fun and different. But what about upgrades? Obviously, we'd want to add an Overgrown Tomb, and maybe a few fetch lands. Triumph of the Hordes, God Eternal Ronus, and Craterhoof Behemoth are all more powerful, and more expensive options. We could go for more lands per turn with cards like Azusa Lost But Seeking, Wayward Swordtooth, and Dryad of the Elysian Grove. You could also add stronger interaction with cards like Assassin's Trophy, Deadly Rollick, or Heroic Intervention. How are you building Erinis Gloomstalker? What background did you give her? Or who did you pair Scion of Halaster with? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cute Stuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, there's a link to her Fiverr page below. I post new Commander deck videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or you can click here and watch additional videos. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Damon.